All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infragistics Ultimate 25.1 release webinar. I'm really happy to see a lot of people join us to see what's new with Infragistics and what we've prepared over the past 6 or so months for you. Let's start with a little bit of introduction, just to let you know what you're going to see in this webinar and who you're going to see in this webinar. So my name is Konstantin Dinev, and I'm Director of Product Development. I didn't prepare this slide. Yeah, I have a slightly different title. Doesn't really matter. I'm responsible for everything Ignite UI, UI UX, and App Builder related, right? And with me today, we have Zdravko Kolev, who is a manager of product development, whose main focus is App Builder. So we're going to split today's webinar into two parts where I'm going to do the first one, and I'm going to talk some more general things about UI UX components and what we've done over the past 6 or so months there in order to enhance every developer's experience with the products that we have. And then I'm going to hand it over to Zdravko, who's actually going to do the more flashy, demos and things, and show you things that we've done and accomplished over the past half year in App Builder. And before I start, I just want to mention that I'm going to show you a quick agenda. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this PowerPoint because for the past 35, well, actually almost 36 years, everything at Infragistics has been about creating simplicity and beauty in the world one app at a time. That's our mission, right? And that's our motto. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we are focused not only on the details of the UI stack, but we want to deliver to developers the best possible UI, reusable UI components for every stack that they need to use UI for, right? They need to build applications for. And so that's really important because each and every one of you that's here has most probably had the experience of having to put together
Konstantin,
smaller.
apologies for the interruption. Can you just make sure that you're showing the presentation rather than getting started with Ignite UI Angular webpage? You
Hold
probably,
on. I'm
yeah.
not sharing the presentation. Really?
Oh, perfect.
That's
That
not what you were seeing so far?
yeah.
Oh my God. I really apologize to everyone. I thought I was sharing
No
the whole
worries.
screen,
Now we
right?
have a
And I'm
beautiful
walking
slide.
through it, right? But basically, yeah, I'm not gonna, redo the whole thing. I really apologize for the, misstep in the start. But yeah, I'm gonna just stay a few seconds on this slide while I continue my spiel. Because I said it's me, Konstantin, and it's Zdravko. And yeah, but what I was saying is that through our mission, what we do is we deliver really sophisticated reusable UI components for basically any scenario that you need to accomplish in an application. So applications, they can be simple presentational website, but in a lot of cases, they're very complex, data-heavy UIs that need to present end users with a way to actually consume this data and make sense of it, right? And if you have to build on your own this whole UI layer, that's really time consuming, and we save a lot of time in this aspect. And so I said I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on a PowerPoint today. What I'm going to cover is the first part, which is I'm going to show you what's new in Angular Web Components, React, Blazor, WPF, WinForms. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we've accomplished there over the past 6 months, and then I'm going to hand it over to Zdravko, who is going to show you how we really enhance your experience as a developer, not only with the UI components, but with an entire platform that actually generates code and makes life very, very easy for you whenever you have to do any type of UI application. All right, one more slide on my end. So I said I'm going to cover UI UX components. And for so in the bullet points, I've covered some of the major ones. I could have put like probably 50 bullet points here because we basically are not resting. We continue enhancing all of our UI UX components constantly. And we're not waiting for this webinar to happen in order to release something. So a lot of these things, if you're an Infragistics user, you may already not only have seen, you may already be using them. Because Angular Query Builder was actually released at the end of February, I believe. So it's been out there, with the latest update for 2 or 3 months already. Tile Manager was more recent. I put in brackets lit. That means it's a web components base. But all of those that are in brackets lit are available across all modern web frameworks. I want to focus a little bit on React 19 before I move on to my demos with the components. So Ignite UI for React 19 for us is the latest release that we have. That literally happened last week. So why is this one a big release? Because for us internally, DevOps wise, and the way that we produce the product, it changed significantly. It made our process a lot better. But externally, how does this affect users? Well, we have way better capabilities of delivering timely updates and patches now. And so Ignite UI for React is now moving towards the same process that we have for Ignite UI for Angular, which means that you're going to be able to get patches weekly, every Monday. Because that wasn't the case for Ignite UI for React for us. But not only that, we've made some major improvements to all grids that we deliver for React. And we've significantly reduced the library size. So that means smaller payloads. And we have significantly reduced the memory footprint of the Ignite UI for React grids, which is significant, especially whenever you have to do some data-heavy application that relies heavily on performance, right? And things like a data pie chart was added to WinForms and WPF. We're adding a tooltip component to Web Components, React, and Blazor. We used to have we have one already in Angular, but we didn't have this component in the other modern web frameworks. Same applies to a file input component. We didn't have that one across all of the frameworks. Now it is available everywhere. But enough of this presentation. Now I'm actually going to share the real screen that I need to share, which is, let me just find which one it is. All right. So you should no longer be seeing my PowerPoint. And if you can continue seeing my PowerPoint, please let me know before I, go deep into the demo.
Everything is good. We see the
All
top.
right. Thank you, Zdravko. So the first thing that I'm going to touch on is something that wasn't in the slide, but it leads up to something that was in the slide, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the advanced filtering sample on our hierarchical grid component in Angular. By the way, it's the same sample across Angular Web Components, React, and Blazor. But I'm going to show it in Angular just so you see what I want to demo to you. So here, if you have used our advanced filtering already, you know that you can apply conditions on the layer of the grid that you're currently viewing. So right now I'm viewing users. I can filter by user properties, by columns of the user. But if I want to see things about the user, the artist, which are related to their albums, I need to go down and filter inside the albums. Well, that's no longer the case. So I'm going to open this advanced filtering dialog, which looks the same as what it was so far, but it's actually very different now. So if I expand the condition that is currently applied as a filter, you're going to see that I'm filtering artists by their albums, and the albums are filtered by a launch date after February 1st, 2017. So if I remove this filter and I apply, we're going to see that more artists are being shown. Now, what does this mean? Well, let's run through a simple scenario. I want to see all of the artists that have an album on the US Billboard 200 on a position between 1 and 5, any of their albums. So I'm going to say that we want to say it's got to be between 1 and 5, so less than 6. All right. Let's see what this did. Apply. Yep, I see artists now which have 1 or more albums which have held this position. All right, but let's dig further, right? So I want to add another condition. And this one would be a launch date before January 1st, 2020. I apply this. And actually, all of these are before January 1st, 2020. So the filtering didn't change. But I'm going to say, well, look, I want to add another condition where the artist actually has had a tour where they have been a headliner. So I'm going to say headliner equals yes. All right. And I'm going to end the 2. I hit apply here. And I'm down to just one artist. One artist that has been in the US Billboard 200 with an album and also has been a headliner in a tour. All right. And in order for you to do this before we applied this new advanced filtering query, was you had to perform the filtering first on artists and then go down and perform one on albums and then perform one on tours. Now you can consolidate, your end user can consolidate their query all in the top level dialog. Now, how did we make this possible? Well, this became possible because we delivered a significant improvement to our query builder component. So the query builder component previously used to be really an advanced filter, but it's not hierarchical. You couldn't do very complex queries. Now you actually can do things like I want to select columns from a specific table. So this one, we click, I want to select columns from customer, and customer has these columns. Let's have them all. All right. And here I can say, well, I want all customers who actually have their orders, which is a different table, be in a completed state. All right, so I'm going to say complete all of the customers whose orders are completed. So I apply all of this, and I see I have actually no customers in this data set that have their orders completed. What does this mean? If I change this to false, I should probably see all of my customers, right? And here it is. All of the customers are visible. In this sample, we're executing a remote request based on the output that we get from the query builder component. This component is outside of the grid, standalone. You can use it for any query that you want your users to build. Then you can take the output, execute it against your backend, against your data repository, and return the necessary filtered data set. What does this look like? All right, if I go down here to the next sample, I'm going to see that we build a filtering expression tree, which now actually includes fields like which table we're selecting from and what fields we are selecting. And then you can execute this whole query against your data set. Right? That's it for the new query builder. So now let's move on to another component. So far, I did talk about queries. I did talk about grids. So it's all data related. Now I'm going to show you a layout related component. We have a brand new tile manager component for all of the modern web frameworks. We did used to have a tile manager component. Well, we still have one for jQuery, but that was a missing layout component in our modern web stack. So from, since 1 or 2 months ago, That's also being polyfill. And this tile manager is actually more advanced than the one that we had in jQuery, because out of the box you can configure your layout to actually be resizable, and your users can apply masonry and reorder their layouts just using the component, right? And so I can do things like this. I can still expand and collapse tiles, or I can make this one bigger. Everything rearranges nicely. And so the user now can, if for example they're in a dashboard scenario, can make their own custom layout. And all you have to do is just declare this component on the page, put the necessary content in the tiles that they want to see, and then everything comes together nicely, right? And this component, as I said, it is available in not all modern web UI stacks. So I'm showing this one as a lit element, as Ignite UI for Web Components component, but the same is available in Angular and in Blazor and in React. All right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back again to the heavy components, right? To the grids. The team worked tirelessly to actually create some more sophisticated scenarios that you can get out of the box. So first of all, you can see a lot of diverse scenarios now directly on our website with pre-built samples that show real use cases for the different types of grids. All right, we have a hierarchical grid, but what can it be used for? Like what type of data scenario it's really useful for? Here we have one. It's an ERP inventory scenario, right? And this is the hierarchical grid displaying a full scenario. By the way, all of these samples are available for download. You can download the repositories with them, build them, and start directly from the sample itself and fill in your own data. Saves a lot of time. But this is hierarchical grid. Now let's move on to org chart or an HR portal. This is, by the way, a tree grid, right? We have homogeneous data in hierarchy. What can it be used for? We have an org chart, right? Financial portfolio. This is like just the basic flat grid. Basic, it's not basic at all because it has so much features. But yeah, I can do things like, whatever I want, pin columns, rearrange them, hide columns. And then this sample actually displays some real data streaming scenario. You can see that the values are changing on the fly as new updates are coming in. Sales dashboard. By the way, this is a pivot grid, right? And you can play around with it. You can see exactly what are the capabilities, what you can do with it, how you can rearrange data, and so on and so forth, like slicing and dicing in the real sales dashboard scenario. And by the way, this one I consider the crown jewel of them all. We have what we call a master detail grid. It's not a hierarchical grid, although it displays some hierarchy of data. What the master detail grid allows you to do is you can have a top-level flat structure of rows, but still have some related data displayed in an arbitrary scenario as grid details. In this case, we've created a fleet management scenario, and this fleet management scenario will have all of our company vehicles in a flat data scenario grid. And then when you expand, you have a tabbed layout which show you different things about your specific vehicle. Like in this one, see pictures of the vehicle. We have some high-level details about this vehicle, like what is its make, its model, how much does it cost, and so on and so forth. We have trip history. Oh, by the way, we have another flat grid inside of here, but it's in a master detail layout where you just declare the child data to be displayed in the grid for this tab. Same applies to our maintenance history for the vehicle. Oh, let's look at the cost structure. All right. Oh, that's an entire dashboard that I have here, right? With different charts displaying, data for cost per meter and so on and so forth, fuel efficiency. And then let's look at utilization, how much we've utilized this vehicle. And then, that's actually compared 2023 against 2024. So the master detail can accomplish a really, really sophisticated scenario, but that's not immediately obvious until we show you a sample like this. All right. That's all very good. That's what I wanted to highlight for 25.1. And by the way, before I move on to Zdravko, all of these grid samples are now available in Angular, in Web Components, and in React. But in React, they are still not on production. They're going to be on production in the next few weeks, maybe, because as I said, React 19 just came out for us. But, the components themselves, they save you a lot of time. Now let's see what happens to the entire application building experience when we put App Builder in the when we start using App Builder and we put focus on it and how it actually simplifies even further the usage of these components. Zdravko, I'm stopping my share now.
Thank you, Konstantin. Let me just share my screen now. Let me know if you're seeing my presentation this time.
Yep, see it.
Okay, perfect. So yes, thank you for the great demo so far, Konstantin. And as you brief everyone at the beginning, I'm the product development manager at Infragistics. Basically, we're working very actively on everything that is related to web frameworks and how low-code platforms with like App Builder can thrive. We have a strong focus on frameworks like Angular, React, Web Components, and Blazor, and I in particular bridge product planning with technical excellence to deliver scalable applications and platforms like the App Builder that I'm about to show you. We've been very active the year so far. We had 3 major releases and we had a few minor ones tackling features that customers like you ask for features there. We have a very rich roadmap in order to constantly deliver value with each and every release. So far, we focused a lot on the grid features like automatic value binding, multi-column headers, summaries, validation, and so on. I won't go through the whole list. Rather, I wanted to just briefly mention what we delivered so far. We have a rich website with all available blocks there. Basically, if you head over to our Builder Dev and open the resources page, you see all the blocks that we constantly do for you. And in fact, the latest block that went out today is now available. It focuses a lot on the new functionalities that we added, like Azure integration, load on demand functionality in the hierarchical grid, input validation, and a lot more. Feel free to check it out. Probably we are going to provide all the links within the chat. And everything related to App Builder as a releases could be found under the blocks page. From where you can start your journey with App Builder, as always, I love to mention that even if you are not a customer of ours currently, you can always check out App Builder's guest mode, which gives you a very good taste of the features that we currently have in App Builder without asking you to actually provide any credentials or register. You can use all features that are currently available, and once you want to like download an application or something else, you can be prompted to actually start a trial period. Now I'm actually logged in with my account, so this is the my workspaces view. Before actually go into details what App Builders is currently having as a new features and functionalities, I just wanted to briefly mention that most of the things that we deliver, you can always reach out to us via Discord if there are any questions or problems while you're using App Builder. I'm going to pick some of those, more specifically the ones that we just released, because everything else so far is covered during the webinars that we had. Head over to YouTube, you can watch them. We stress on a lot of these functionalities already. For this feature, one of the jewels that we actually had released is the Azure integration. I know that I know that you're familiar already with our GitHub publish integration. Basically, whenever you build an application, you can publish it to GitHub. It will be automatically deployed, and you can, via public link, access your application. Now we actually have published to Azure DevOps, which I'm going to show you in a bit, because before that, I wanted for us to build an actual application that we can add there. For the sake of the demo and have more time to actually spend on features, I already prepared a simple application that we can use. I'm going to start with the validation story. We wanted to improve the validation story that we have in App Builder in general. And this is why we worked on input validation, which means that every grid, every form, and every input that you have in your application will now use the pre-built schema that is coming from your Northwind Swagger in order to load your validation. Or it will also give you the ability to set your own custom validation. For example, if the type of your input is of type text, we expose the min length, max length, and pattern validation rules, which are based on the HTML5 web specification. In that case, in particular, we have for the company name a value of min length of 5 that that you will be limited to actually set, and you will be prompted with a message which is entry should be at least 5 characters long. This is for the form itself. Something else that I'm going to add also is to the grid, because I want to actually show off how easy it is for you to set a validation to the grid itself. Actually, no, let me use this one. We're going to set max length row to the contact title field. The grid comes with built-in validation messages. This is why we are not showing any validation message right now. So you can see here that if I start typing, this is my contact title, entry should be no more than 15 characters long. We are prompted with the validation message, and we won't be able to actually change it. This is for the grid itself. And the form that we set up was to add a new account. By adding a new account, we are shown this type of a dialog. And here we actually can set the same validation. In our case, we have a min length setting, which is entry should be at least 5 characters long. So I'm going to set it like that. And now the validation is no more. Everything so far is great, and the best news of all is that this is code generatable for each of your preferable web frameworks. You are going to get a pixel perfect result. What you actually see in a builder preview is going to end up on your code generated application, which I'm going to show in a bit. Before that, I just wanted to say to you that this rich application, which is the CRM application, actually originates from the sample apps library that we have. Here we have a lot of pre-built apps for you that are showcasing many of our features, very thorough behaviors and scenarios that may be closer to a need that you may have. For example, you can see a movie app, a health vault, CRM application, learning portal, inventory management, everything that one might need to kickstart his development. And talking about new features, now I'm going to actually show you the other new feature that we released with this monthly release, which is the multi-column header support. You know that in our libraries, grids and charts and basically every other component in it is very rich. We're very proud with our grids and charts because they give you the abilities to actually work with data with ease, to actually have a very performant grids that are yielding a very good result. And basically, we strive to expose all the benefits that our components are giving within the app builder, because this is actually how we want to ease our users to build their applications. So in the grid in particular, we have this feature which is multi-column headers. Basically, it allows you to group a common set of columns and be able to allow them to collapse or expand based on an action that you have. So in that particular case, I have grouped the company info. I can add the address as well to the company info, which I'm going to do now. And I have said that one of the columns, which is the company name, is going to be visible once the group is collapsed. So if I head over to preview, you will notice that now the column is collapsed and I see only the company name. If I expand it, I see everything that is underneath, which is the contact name, the contact title, and the address that we just have added. Speaking of code generation, with these features so far that I have shown, I've used the time while Konstantin was briefing you about everything that is UI and UX related to our products there to download the application that I just showed to you and have it running. Here it is, the CRM app example demo. It's running now, so I'm going to just hit to be opened in localhost. So here it is. You can see the column headers feature is already here. If I head over to accounts, you will see that we have the same dialog. So we will get, again, the same validation result. And it should be at least 5 characters. And for the grid itself, I believe we set the contact title to be with a validation rule. And here it is, the entry should be no more than 15 characters. As I said, everything that you get from preview, you can see here and compare is the same as the result with the code generated application. Here it is, they are the same. And the beauty of all is that whenever what your need is, you can pick a different platform and just generate your app against it. Quick skim through the features. Oh, actually, now that we have an app, this is what I wanted to showcase is the publish to Azure capabilities. Now we can head over and publish this application to Azure. Let me just open my Azure portal. This is my personal account in Azure. So basically I have already a few projects which we use the Azure API, Azure DevOps API in order to pick them. You will be prompted with a logging screen, giving authorization to App Builder to actually use the API in order to fetch this kind of information, which is the projects. This is going to be on your first login with it. And basically, this is the result that you're going to have. Here are the projects under my Zdravko Kolev Azure DevOps organization. And whenever I pick a project, for example, I'm going to pick this one, we can name our repository. And just create it. Based on the organization settings that you have, whether they are public or private, you're going to publish the desired destination. Here it is, we're showing this type of information that after your initial publish feature updates, we'll use pull requests, which is similar experience to what we have with the GitHub integration so far. I'm going to just hit publish and wait a bit for it. This is going to be the project that we are going to publish our repository to. We can use the quick link, which is going to show us where the repository is. I'm going to use it, and basically here it is. There are a few tests that I already did with the repository flow, and this is the webinar test repository that we just created with the CRM application, which was having accounts, calendar, context, and all other type of views and information. This is going to be for the Azure integration. As always, publishing to GitHub is an option for you, or if your needs are based on just integrating your existing app, your app into an existing app, you can download your code and just use it in order to add it to an existing system that you have. These were the main features that we released with the current block. Let me just check something out. Actually, you can always use the account information that you have. For example, if you head over to About App Builder and click on the What's New button, you will see that we've been working on hierarchical grid vault on demand, which I'm going to show you in a bit. Input validation, which I just showed you, the multi-column headers with collapsible column groups and the Azure DevOps integration. This is the latest and greatest that we have worked so far. And the only thing that I haven't shown is the load and demand functionality. Let me just show it to you. I have an existing application that I'm working with. Basically, this is a sleep tracker application that I'm creating to an external API that gives me my sleep record based on the data that it gathers. As you can see here, I'm adding a lot of visualizations in order to show a category chart, a pie chart, for example. I want to filter out data. For example, I want to show the sleep data between a certain range. For example, here it will be for 2nd of May. And I'm using a lot of other visualizations, which are like cards that are tracking my efficiency, total sleep, and other metrics that our API is providing me with. And imagine that I want to extend my application with something richer. This is where the new feature of the hierarchical grid comes in. In my case in particular, I didn't found a hierarchical data on the data structure that I have, so I'm going to use the predefined one that we have in App Builder. You can always head over to the data sources section that we have over here and look for the Northwind Swagger endpoint. Basically, this is a Swagger endpoint that we have exposed with testing purposes that is giving a lot of rich endpoints that you can use, endpoints with validation, endpoints that are having hierarchical structure, endpoints that are related to each other, like customers with orders, with details, and so on. And this is what I'm going to use for the demo itself. So once you have the grid in your canvas, you see that there is a new section here under the hierarchical grid properties that is showing you a data hierarchy. So at the root level, we actually have customers endpoint. And as you can see here, it's showing all the customers like Alfki, Anton, and so on. And what I actually did was to use exactly that UI in order to add a child grid. This child grid will be loaded on demand based on the parent row that I'm currently expanding. How that is happening? Let's look at it. I'm selecting the child grid, sorry. And here you can see that I'm binding it to an endpoint that is giving me all the orders based on a customer ID. From where we are going to pick up that customer ID, we know that it's going to be given to us by the context that the parent grid is giving. So basically, you can see that the parent grid is bound to the customer's endpoint, and this is actually the data context that I'm going to pick from. So I'm going to pick customers and the customer ID. And you can see that if I go to preview and I open the hierarchical grid view, now I have all the customers, and upon clicking on the first customer, you saw the spinner, which was loading data on demand. And now I get all the orders for that particular customer, which was Alfki. He has already 6 orders. Let me do the same for Anton. And you will see that we are making the requests on demand. This is one of the strongest sides that our grids are having. We have plenty of features that can suit your needs based on your scenarios. I also wanted to showcase that our features are cross-grid. So for example, the multi-column headers feature is actually available on the tree grid and on the hierarchical grid as well. So I have combined the address column header here. And for example, I can add another column to this address as well. And again, use the collapsible column feature in order to show or hide columns based on that property. As always, everything is code-generatable. You can have it on the different platforms, on the different frameworks that you have. And without taking any much time, because I have covered most of the things that I wanted to show so far, let me just go through the slides again. Links for the blogs will be available also. Oh yeah, something very Actually, the app builder demo already passed through. Something else that I wanted to actually stress on today was that before we wrap up the session, I wanted to leave you with something very, very interesting, a quick demo of what our AI capabilities can do within App Builder. We've been very active lately on trying to acquire App Builder AI to actually help App Builder users to uh, create applications even faster and with more convenience, more easily. So we have this. I'm going to stay for a bit on production. We have this button that you can see, which is generate with AI. Here you can see that we have this very nice design that is showing you, okay, you can have a view generation, image generation, or data generation, and based on it, you can generate application views that can suit your needs within the application. I'm going to very quickly show what actually is going to be produced now. Create a detailed login screen. This is the prompt that we have by default here when we try this example. We can add this to a view, replace a selection, or create a new view. I'm going to just pick a new view for the sake of the demo, and voila, that was the view that we created. A very simple login screen. But this is not what I wanted to show you actually, because we decided to take this one step further. We see conversational AI experience all over the internet now, and this is the way that we are going to communicate through the AI for the time being, because you know that how fast everything evolves. So on preview environment, this is an environment that we created especially for you to get a sneak peek and early preview of all the features that we are currently baking, but are not ready to be on a production environment that you can use within your businesses. And this is why we are actually using the preview environment to showcase all the conversational AI capabilities. So I'm going to create a new application very quick here. And I'm going to name my application. And here you can see that we have a new section which is generate with AI, which gives you a very nice way to actually communicate with your app itself without dialogues or typing anything. We show you these beautiful chips that are going to guide you through the whole experience. And basically, I'm going to use them as predefined. They are random. So for example, sometimes they can prompt you with, okay, generate me an auto shop application. In that particular case, I'm going to ask it to generate me a login screen because this was the chip suggestion. From here, you can see, okay, that was the prompt itself, and this is what we actually did. You can say, okay, I like that response, or I don't like it. We actually keep history of all the conversations that you had so far, and we can take that further and even continue adding to what we already have. So I'm going to say, okay, add me a link for forget password. It's going to take a minute. And by the way, I have that application prepared. So I'm going to just run it for a bit. And you can reiterate with the design that you're building as long as you want. You can type your own prompts. You can start even a new chat. You can look at the code that was generated. You can switch, for example, to be or a React code or whatever your application that you're building is. And actually, I'm going to show you of the application code that is created with it, because although it's a simple login form, you see that the code within it. Let me just, oh, this is the CRM app. Apologies. So this is the login page. I'm going to go to the master view. Um, this is the login form with the submit, with the forgot password button, or with the TypeScript, all the CSS that we create, basically everything that you might need in order to kick off your app development. And here is the actual login form. As you can see, it's again the same as it is in preview. The essence of our preview environment is that you can lay hands on what's new in App Builder on early stage, and we are always there to actually get a glimpse of your feedback so far. But yeah, I truly wanted to leave you with that what actually makes sets App Builder apart is that it's not just about generating a plain HTML or CSS snippets, as you can already saw in out there. It builds complete functional applications that are based on the framework you choose. Whether it's Angular Web Components or Blazor, the AI works within a validated application model, ensuring that the output is not only standard compliant but also production ready. We have this common model that ensures that. Um, we are using our own components, which are giving you this strengths of actually extend and take your apps on another level. They are not like a custom HTML or plain components that will need to be rewritten every time when you need to add a new functionality or a new feature, which is why our components, the components that we built with App Builder comes with services, with theming, with accessibility, with localization, everything that a component would need in order to have this enterprise grade experience. So yeah, I just want to thank you. And before we wrap up, actually, Konstantin, I'm going to go to the next slide, which is what we are baking for the upcoming product release schedule. We have these roadmaps that are publicly available for each of the frameworks that we have and the App Builder platform itself. They are in GitHub. Basically, you can see everything that we have released so far based on the iterations, what we are currently working on in the current iteration, and what is going down the road. This is for the App Builder itself. And the frameworks and the libraries roadmaps are also available on production on GitHub, apologies, so you can see them there as well. And yeah, I believe that was everything for me. JJ, you're supposed to pick up the poll, I guess, if
Draft
it's
for the poll is already running.
oh, perfect.
Yeah. And maybe before we go, if you haven't tried any of the new features already, go ahead and do so. Zdravko, that's the next slide. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. There's a slide with our contact details. And we appreciate any feedback on what you saw. Once again, before we go, because everything is about AI now. What Zdravko showed is I tend to call it vibe app building. I don't know whether this trend will pick up, but our vibe app building experience is so good because it ensures that you always have compilable code, right? Zdravko already mentioned this. I'm going to reiterate it one more time. So when we go through the workflow, when we receive the output, we validate and sanitize this output and put it in our common application model. And 100% of the time, you get compilable application in all frameworks that we target with App Builder. So you get an AI workflow response, which you can immediately 100% compile in Blazor, React, Web Components, and Angular. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes, thank you for that. I totally agree, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think that's all from us for today, right?
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Hope you liked the demos. Go on our website, try App Builder, try the components if you haven't already, and let us know if what you like and what you don't.
Thank you, everyone.